When October runs around, it will finally have been 4 years since the console release of BlazBlue Central Fiction. 4 freaking years. Holy shit. But you know what? I can finally talk about more about this game. I made like a big ass freaking top 10. Oh, what characters I would like to see in this game, or my problems with this game, or etc. etc. But it's time to finally get all my thoughts out, because I want this to be like the last time I talk about Central Fiction, since I know Arxis isn't gonna mess with it anymore. Like, just imagine if they popped out with new character DLC like right out of nowhere. That would have, oof. That would have been an adventure right there. But no, finally bringing my final, ultimate thoughts about this game. All in all, Central Fiction is a very good game. Like, I don't even have to think I have to say that all that much. It's a pretty good game. I do have problems with it. I made that clear like many times before, but this game is not that bad. Like, if anything, I feel like this is the best culmination of BlazBlue up to this point, because this is the last game in the C series, and I really do want to know, you know, what's next for BlazBlue in regards to fighting games that's not BBTAG related. And I'm not going to talk about BBTAG in this video. This already made videos about BBTAG before, but Central Fiction, I wanted to finally end it off on something. Like, just simply break down the game in a way and talk about it. Like, you still got like your basic modes, you got your tutorial, you got your challenge mode, you got your training. The challenge mode is freaking huge, even though I can never finish them all because I'm still never good at combos. And we get your story / library mode, you get your regular battle modes like arcade versus One of the Abyss, score attack, speed star, network, which is literally part of the game, your replay theaters, your galleries, your item shop. So I guess I could start talking about stuff like little by little and get into what I think of the modes, or what I think of the game. I want to start with story mode first, because truth be told, Central Fiction story mode is like, it's like, I think I enjoy it 75% of the time. And actually, not even like 75%, maybe 65%. And the thing about the mode is that I personally believe that it is way too long. Like you can get past most of the stuff if you really dedicate and put your mind into it. But the mode itself is actually quite long. Like really, like, it's like you got your main story and you got your sub stories. And the sub stories you kind of need because there's some stuff that, you know, characters don't get explained to enough. Like, let's say Mood 12. Like, most of her stuff goes like under the radar in the main mode. I mean, she's around, but most of her endeavors aren't really showed all that much. Or characters like Bullet. Like, Bullet's entire subplot is in these sub-stories. And you can easily just gloss over the sub-stories. You know, like, you can easily just gloss over them and not even know they're there until you look. Like, the thing about the sub-stories is that you won't know about the sub-stories until you leave the mode itself and come back. And it's like, oh, a chapter called Sub-Story online. I wonder what that's all about. But anyway, plus, even Ragnar meeting Naoto's that settled into the sub-stories, which is ridiculous. You feel like that should be like in the main story. But anyway, at least the sub-stories are around to give the characters, you know, who you don't see do more. But they kind of, like, the thing about those sub-stories is that they're really short. And they're really short. They're like tiny, like maybe about a minute. Sometimes not even like 2 minutes long. Some are super long, some are super short, but etc. etc. But the story mode is really long, and I'm going to get into the whole dub argument again, because I've done that so many times to death. But the dub does, for people who like the dub, it does really have an impact on the story itself and your enjoyment into it. Like, without the dub, I just realized how long some of these BlazBlue games go on for, because at the time, I just kind of read the text and just press X and move on. Like, it just depends, really. And yeah, the mode does get kind of long at points. I mean, hell, like the main gripe I have about this game is that the first 4 chapters of it are just in a way a kind of a retelling of Calamity Trigger with some some small changes to it to make it fit this game, and it's in a way saying, oh, it's not exactly Calamity Trigger. It feels like it's not exact, and I think that's a big problem about, like, you're starting off the game, because it's essentially a retelling with some new bits thrown in. You know, it's changing up some things, like it's showing a little bit of Ragnar's backstory. There's 9 involved. Jin's still in hospital, etc. So it's like it's leading off from Chronophantasma, but it still has, you know, bits. It's basically a rewind of Calamity Trigger, and that kind of like makes me kind of lose my enjoyment of like the first 4 chapters. Like, you can only see Calamity Trigger being remade so many times in so many different ways before you just essentially get annoyed. Like, I feel like Calamity Trigger is the game, BlazBlue game, I want to go back to the least, because I swear it gets old. Like, with Calamity Trigger, you know, you got like light novels, you get the Calamity Trigger reconstruction, you got the mangas. Like, you can, in the games, you can essentially just watch Calamity Trigger over and over and over and over again. It's another retelling that just is slightly different than the norm. So after chapter 4, you finally get into the main game itself. It even shows that you get into the main game itself, because the opening plays. Like, it shows you, oh yeah, the game's finally starting up. And while I don't have personally too many problems with the story mode itself, it honestly has like a ton of characters to juggle. Like, with 36 characters, all playable characters trying to finish up their own subplots or leading to new subplots. The story is all over the place, and like, it really is all over the place. Because you still got characters like Carl trying to get their subplots wrapped up. You still got characters you want to talk about, like Azrael, who doesn't really do much. Again, Azrael's just, you know, there. You know, characters like Hosma, Terra, I mean, who, especially Ragna, because he's the main character. Like, there's a huge focus placed on Ragna, and I totally understand that. It's his game, it's his final game. He has to go do most of the stuff. The problem is, we're trying to make Ragna the main focus, like the true main focus, is that like everyone else is kind of have to get pushed in order to do something. Like, hell, some characters don't even get to do anything. Like, let's say Bullet. Bullet really wasn't going to do anything. I mean, her main subplot was to find Tiger, and she did. And like, it's simple as that. But like, all these characters had to be juggled around like this. It's super tough. And like, oh my god. Like, I wouldn't say Central Fiction Story is the worst. Like, it's not even as far from it. But it has a lot to like try to, you know, handle at once, especially when it's trying to like end off, you know, the main series for Ragna, but at the same time trying to, you know, bleed into something else, like with, you know, games beyond Central Fiction or Bloodedge Experience or whatever else this game is going to lead into. It's hard to like keep all this together. Like, you still gotta like try to end off some other characters, like, oh, you know, Hawkman is now inside the boundary now. Trinity is now inside the boundary, or maybe dead. She probably just moved on to the afterlife. S is somehow integrated to this. Like, and even trying to integrate characters from their own series, like Naoto. Like, trying to have them have an important stake in the story, like Naoto, S, and you're just asking for trouble with S, mainly because she's from XBLAZE, and her character-wise is not really worth anything. She's just there to be the guardian of the gate. But we have to treat her like she's important. Even though in the story, she's not really that important. She's just, you know, a big guardian. Or Naoto, how him and his possibilities are a thing now. And how he's integrated into the story. Like, Naoto honestly didn't need to be integrated into the story the way he was, because that's just even more crap beyond. Like, his stuff, like, his whole subplot is beyond this game. And that's why I feel like Central Fiction kind of screws up. It's trying to establish stuff later instead of just trying to be a true end that will satisfy everyone. Now, again, this is just Ragna's ending, but it doesn't feel like what it feels like it should do is just end off the main story in a way that shouldn't lead into anything else, or just like leave small bits of stuff to come. And this game kind of doesn't do it all that well. It kind of like just tries to build like, oh man, there's more BlazBlue. But other than that, yeah. And as I said before, the dub kind of does impact the enjoyment of this story mode, because like, I've said this before, I am not like that much of a fan of Japanese voices, and it really does affect my enjoyment, because when you get 100 chapters of just straight Japanese BlazBlue, it gets exhausting, especially if you want to watch the sub-stories, and doubly more when you want to do the gag reels. Like, the gag reels, I wish there were more original gag reels for this game. Like, I get the Central Fiction's part is like the darkest BlazBlue game, and I understand it's not many gag reels, and the story was already big enough to compensate for that in some way. But even so, there's not really any original gag reels. The only original one, like, that isn't like a sequel or a rehash of another one, is literally the Naruto Girl Game one. Because like the other ones, you still got the Platinum trying to do the like the whole like apartments thing. You got the Ragna Harem one, and then you got the Brotherly Paradise. Like, it's nothing that much new with the gag reels in this game. It's kind of upsetting, really. Like, with a way to end it off Central Fiction, you figured they would come up with more gag reels that would, be new, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's like my main conclusion with Central Fiction's story without having to go too deep into it. I do feel like some characters could have got something more to do, though there's, I mean, like, there's only so much you could do with some of these characters and not just make it, like, mega bloated, and, like, the story's already bloated enough as it is, so. I didn't want to rag too much with the story mode, because, like, there's some characters that could have done something in the story mode, like, I believe that the arcade mode is done the story a lot better, because at least some of the characters have the time to shine, and you can kind of connect those arcade mode story paths in a way to make his own story mode to make it look make somewhat sense. Now, characters like Hibiki don't do anything, and I wasn't expecting him to like have a big stake into the plot, but like establishing him in arcade mode, and then to come out with Mori saying, "Oh yeah, that really wasn't. It was just for the arcade mode. It really wasn't going to impact the story mode." Kind of seemed like it was a waste of time. Like, why even bother establishing a character at all if you're not going to do anything with them? Or characters like Mai, they're trying to like set her up for her variable heart stuff, or maybe stuff beyond variable heart or whatever. And she's not even needed in the story, like, at all. Like, even doubly so that she's DLC. So, like, putting her in the story mode, like, it seems like they had, like, her stuff panned out in Chronophantasma with the remix heart stuff. And they just wanted her to not seem so out of place, so they put her in this game. Like, and without people even know about, the remix / variable heart series. But that's my overall thoughts about story mode. It's a nice conclusion to Ragna's end. I do like the fact that they end off Ragna's story mode without having, like, end off in an insane way. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts. There are some things I wish they could have done better, but I went through over that, and this video would be way longer if I went through everything. But anyway, moving on from the story mode, library mode. I mean, should I even talk about library mode? I made a whole video just randomly about library mode and how much better they could have done with it. Like, library mode is the bare minimum of a library mode in this game, and even then, it doesn't really explain everything. Especially when, like, they don't update the character pages from, like, this game to the newest game. Like, let's say, like, for example, Ragna's story mode. Like, no, sorry, my bad. Ragna's, God damn it, Ragna's library mode. It doesn't go past Chronophantasma extends. Like, they don't update it. They ever updated it. None of the characters got updated at all. Hell, Susanoo doesn't even have a library mode passage. Like, what they should have done is update for some of the new characters and update some from, like, old stuff. Like, and they don't go, like, the extra mile and explain some crap. Like, one thing I wanted for this game was, like, or would have wanted for BlazBlue in general, was like what they did with Remix Heart, where they had like a little episode of sorts, like, oh, this is Bloodedge Experience, like its own little section, like it's like the lead in to why Naruto's even here instead of relying on outside knowledge. Again, BlazBlue's a Japanese series first and foremost, and it's only for the Japanese audience to understand. So this is why light novels and shit that we don't know of, like Phase Shift or Bloodedge Experience or Spiral Shift or stuff like that, we don't know of. And even then, we don't have translations for. And you're kind of like stuck relying on outside knowledge in order to understand who the hell Naruto is. And it would have been like great for like Mori to put in like some kind of like mini episode about Bloodedge Experience to just lead in to like lead into this game. Or something of the sort. Because Bloodedge Experience was created before Central Fiction. And it would have been a great way to, like, make like a little episode. Like, I don't know why something like that doesn't exist here. And having Naruto just come out the blue just kind of, like, it just doesn't fit. He doesn't really fit all that well because there's nothing leading him into it. The same with Mai. The same with S. These characters feel completely out of place in the story because they don't have anything that really leads them in that way. The only person that gets the only two people that get away with it really is Mai and S, because at least they have stuff that's been translated. At least Mai has an English manga of sorts, and at least S has XBLAZE, which has been localized, but everything else, like regarding Naruto, kind of leaves them up in the air. I mean, you're just stuck relying on like word of mouth or the wiki for this stuff, and that's completely out of completely out of the game's control. There's nothing you can do about that other than that stuff on your own. And I don't think that was the right way to introduce the new characters to this without having them established first in the game. Like, at least Hibiki had, like, some standing in the previous game. However little it was, at least he had something to do in Chronophantasma. He had a character portrait. He had a voice. He did stuff. He did something. At least he made his presence known, and he was going to be playable in Chronophantasma before he was scrapped. Characters like Susanoo didn't really had to be built up all that much because we kind of saw that one coming. I mean, Teremy kind of, well, actually foreshadowed what Teremy started back with in Calamity Trigger, where he was called the Black Susanoo by Noelle. So that was at least built up some. Mai, as again before, she had a manga to establish herself. And I feel like the only character that feels somewhat out of place is Naruto. At least Izanami, she was in the previous game. 9 was built up to be playable sometime in the future, or at least become a threat in some way. But Naruto just feels out of place. As he still does to me, even to this day, because like he just doesn't feel like he belongs here because there's nothing to establish him all that much. And all you got is the arcade modes, and that doesn't really count. So, anyway, moving on from the story bits and library bits, because I already talked about that, we move on to the actual modes for the game. Let's start with practice. Tutorial's fine. Nothing to talk about here. Training mode is okay. I wish training mode had the ability to change your music while you played. There's nothing I can do about that. I mean, I know I'm glad that later Arc Sys games did that, like Under Night or Guilty Gear or like Guilty Gear XR Rep 2 or BBTAG. I'm glad like they're able to change your music because it just ain't able to change your stage. Just, you know, if you want to change your song, you have to go all the way back and change that and go back in. So kind of changing the stage means nothing to me in this mode. If I want to get a new song and listen to the background, I have to like delete the stage anyway. So having that option there just to only change the stage is kind of useless to me. Though I do like the fact that you change your characters on the fly without having to go all the way back. I do like that. So, you know, I like that addition to it. Wait a minute. No, I think it's like you only able to change your you're able to change your characters. And you're able to change your, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. You're able to change your characters, and you're able to change your stage, I think. No, you're only able to change your characters, my bad. I'm thinking of BBTAG, it's starting to get in my head now. Yeah, you're only able to change your characters. And while that'd be good, I wish you could change your stage, or anything of that sort, because it kind of sucks. I mean, you can change your characters if you want to, that's great, but if I want to change my stage, or anything like that, I gotta leave it and go all the way back to the main character select menu, and that kind of like then defeats half the purpose of it. But it's no big deal. I mean, I don't even care that much anyway. But it would have been great to go the extra mile, at least change your music and stage. I guess that's one thing that sucks about the Chronophantasma. I'm sorry, Central Fiction's tutorial mode. You also got your challenge modes, which I'm not gonna talk about that all that much because it's challenge mode. I mean, what do you want? I'm not very good at them, and they're really hard for me, but whatever. So now we move on to the actual battle modes, and so I can talk about the actual battle modes. So we got Arcade versus Win with Abyss, Score, Attack, and Speed. So Arcade mode is probably the best this series has ever done, because Jesus Christ, Arcade mode is insane. Because like with characters outside of 9, Izanami, S, Susanoo, Mai, and Jubei, the characters have each 3 acts, and it is utterly insane because you can spend like just so much time doing these arcade modes alone. Because an average run of arcade mode, depending on how many rounds you have, is about 20 to 30 minutes. So it's gonna be a lot to get past every single arcade mode, like every act. And I do like what arcade mode's done in regards to the story, because it shows that stakes have been raised after they kind of got dwindled down back in Chronophantasma. I like the arcade mode. It's probably the best that's ever been done in a BlazBlue game ever, because the arcade acts are just that, like, it's freaking huge, dude. Like, the game's already full of characters enough as it is. In versus mode, you know, I want to break down versus mode in a way, because versus mode has a lot going for it, and yeah, it's just a mode, but keep in mind that this game is a culmination of BlazBlue all the way up to this point. Every single character has ever been playable. Every single stage has ever been in a BlazBlue game. Every single song, you know, excluding some openings, is in this game now. So you get a lot of bang for your buck just for this alone. Like, so many stages with new variants upon those stages. Like, some of the new stages are pretty cool though. I like the blue stage, like the brand new stages, like Blue Apocalypse. Let's see, another one. I guess Purgatorium. I do like Judgment Day too, because it's a nice change on Ragna's stage, because Ragna's stage in this game is just a blockaded district, at least for like Chronophantasma. And you're wondering, it's like, it looks like a rather simple stage. And then you switch it to Judgment Day, you can really see what's happening on the outside of the whole Embryo stuff, because it shows like the embryo in the sky. It's showing like literally the world being like destroyed, annihilated, because this world is ending while everyone's stuck in the embryo. It's freaking sick. But and you got some of the colors that came out to this point. Now, I am not a fan of getting rid of some of the more anime reference colors, though. Like, I miss Rogna's Ichigo color, but that's like a nitpick on my part. That was like Ichigo Kurosaki's color. Kind of miss that, but I mean, it's no big deal. But hey, at least we got a bunch of new colors to compensate for that. And some of the new colors are pretty good. And then we get to Grim of Abyss. Again, Grim of Abyss is a nice, nice new change to what they did to the regular Abyss modes in this game. Or at least in the series of BlazBlue. And I like Grim of Abyss because you get so much customization options. I do like the fact they added a boss rush mode, so you can like get more for it. Because they got nice new abilities in Grim of Abyss. Like, there's abilities like called Vindicator, which I do like because it gives you a bunch of I think it's like a bunch of counter hits. And that counter hits really does rack up some of the damage in this game because it's freaking insane. I can't remember if it was a Vindicator or not. It's been like a while since I played this game. It was but yeah, Grim of Abyss is a nice touch. It's super short though if you're able to get through everything. Grim of Abyss compared to like regular Abyss mode, I like this a lot better because you're not thrown into some position where you have to go down a place like 666 floors or something like that, and if you die, you F up. You're not thrown into that kind of position. I'm kind of glad they haven't added some kind of mode like that. You get a little shop you can buy stuff from. Again, you got your boss rush for all 32 of the base game characters, which I do enjoy. These boss rushes are really inventive and really insane because they really push your metal on like what can be done with this game. It's crazy. I will say that the Izanami Ragna 9 battles at the very end are mega cheap as all hell, and some of these battles get really ridiculous. Like, not even like I would say ridiculous in a good way, but not even ridiculous in a good way. Like, it gets really insane. Like, oh man, did you know like certain characters who can only take damage from an overdrive, like distortion move. A distortion in overdrive or some shit like that, or only a character can be killed by an astral, or like it gets really ridiculous. Like, but I do like how inventive they are. Like, some of the characters get annoying as hell. Like, oof. And you get like freaking 9 Izanami and Rog, as I said before. They literally just all their flavor text says is enter boss mode. And with 9 it says destroy everything. Or with Izanami it says bring death upon all. Or with Ragna it says eradicate everything. Like, they just don't give you like a description, like where the character's like, oh, this character has high mobility or something like that. They don't give you a description. They just says destroy or bring death or just annihilate everything. Like, just, it's ridiculous. But other than that, River Abyss it was a well done change. And plus you can also sell stuff for money in this game, so that's good. Score attack is your basic score attack. I don't have to say much about that. And I would say I hate Speed Star mode. I honestly say it right now. Speed Star is split into 3 different courses. It's split into Course A, Course B, and Course C. Course C is by far the cheapest course I have ever, like, anything cheap, like, even cheaper than Unlimited Mars mode. I will say that, and it's not an exaggeration, trust me. Because Course C is annoying as sin, because you get 90 seconds, right? And the characters are all really strong. You have to fight all 32 characters in 90 seconds. But you get time bonuses. That doesn't sound that bad. But you don't get enough to justify it. And you need to beat these characters in a quick way. With characters who can do high damage, or characters you can cheese with, like Mai or Tager. Those are only 2 characters you can really do any damage from. Like, really any good damage from. Now, with Speed Star Course C, you have to fight all 32 characters. That's not a problem. But with this, your time is cut in half, because with Speed Star Course B, you get 180 seconds, and you do get time bonuses. But with C, you only get 90 seconds, and you don't get that much time bonuses to justify being able to beat all 32 characters. And on top of that, it's like you gotta do enough damage to even beat them as quickly as humanly possible in order to get to the end. Like, I made it to, like, characters, like, I think 27 with Tager, and that's the highest I ever made, and I just eventually tapped out, because that mode, like, Course C is so cheap, man. So cheap. Like, I don't even like Speed Star anymore. Like that, like there was a mode actually in the original arcade release of Central Fiction called Alliance mode, and it worked essentially as Legion mode, where you can like fight characters and recruit them. You can also get them stat bonuses and crap like that. And it never translated over to this game. It was only an arcade exclusive mode. And I kind of wish that mode was in here because it sucks really. Like I hate when like modes just don't get into the game. Like even something as trivial as that could have made it in. But anyway, moving on from that, and I don't have to talk about network mode because network mode kind of literally means nothing in this as a network mode. What do you want from me? Then you move on to gallery mode. Gallery mode is taking a big hit from like it's somewhat of an improvement, but also took a hit from Chronophantasma Extends. Like, to be fair, with Chronophantasma Extend, it was a game that I already had built upon with other character artwork, so I can't really say nothing for that one because it was Chronophantasma with more character artwork on top of that. So, yeah. But I do like all the new story mode artwork and the arcade artwork is done. Like, you get so much brand new, you know, artwork made by the people who draw these little illustrations, these CGs for arcade, like the story mode and arcade mode. It's ridiculous. There's so much now. You not only get story mode, but you get like 3 acts of arcade mode to burn through with these CGs, and it's ridiculous. It's a lot. And some of the art is really good. All his art, actually, all his art really good. You also get your little clear bonus artwork, which, I mean, it's art. I mean, it's just the character portrait with like a congratulations on top of it. So it's no big deal. You also got new artwork from like special people. You got special guests. You got artworks 1, like your character select stuff, chibi artwork, special guest 2, etc., etc. So it's full of stuff to get into. You even got your little movie mode where you got like your cutscene videos. One thing I don't like about this game is the fact they don't have that much cutscene, like anime cutscenes, and I could attribute that to just being like first of all the anime cutscenes don't really kick in until like after you beat 9. Like, you get 1 at the beginning, like excluding the opening. You get 1 at the beginning with like Izanami, like she's looking into the master unit, she laughs because there's nothing in there, etc., etc. But like right after that, you don't see like shit until you beat 9, and then like they start falling after line. Then after you beat 9, then you see the Susanoo one where he gets summoned. Then you see Ragna's goodbye with Rachel, which is actually really well done. There's the Susanoo one versus Ragna. Ragna beats Terumi for the last time, and then there's the ending. One thing I don't like about some of these anime cutscenes is that there's like no music plays through them like at all, except like the last one, and if you're counting technically the first one, with Izanami. But no music plays in these. It kind of kills the scene what it's trying to establish. Like Fight 9, 0 music, no sad music, no Walpurgis not playing, nothing. Susanoo's resurrection, nothing's playing. No bombastic music to show his form here. No must die. No nothing. Rachel's Ragna's goodbye could have been silent. It's not that bad. But no sad music. No none. Ragna beating Susanoo. No sad music or no epic music or nothing. And Ragna fighting Terumi one last time. No final boss music. No fatal judge. No nothing. Like all these cutscenes are void of any sounds. And it kind of kills the scene. It's just so quiet. Like, they couldn't spring for any music to put in the background. Hell, I even made an edit about putting music in the background. It wasn't that hard. But yeah, that's that. And now we move on to the item shop, where you'll be spending your hard-earned platinum dollars to buy additional colors. You can buy Noelle's NOL outfit, which is stupidly high in this game. I don't like the fact that it's 50,000 platinum dollars. That's ridiculous. Like, you get the location test voices, which I don't care much about because, I mean, they're in Japanese. And you can also have your music from previous BlazBlue games like Rebellion, Less Sand, etc., etc. One thing I don't like about this little item shop is the fact that you can't listen to your BGM anymore, your BlazBlue music. Like, if you purchased a song, let's say I bought Memory of Tears. I can never listen to it again. Like, it's like blanked out on the shop, so you can't do anything again. I liked it better in Chronophantasma Extend, where you can just select the music and you can able to listen to it again at your leisure. But in this, you can't. You can just buy the music and it's like permanently just locked out for you. So yeah, that sucks balls, but I mean, whatever, man. It ain't the worst thing ever. But I think I have literally said everything I could about this game. I think I've said everything. Yeah. Like, I've made my piece about the dub. I talked about the story mode. Story mode took up most of this video anyway, because of course it did. I already talked about the modes, network. I do like the customization options you get in the online mode. I mean, that's about all I can say here. That's not all I can say, really, for the arcade mode. I mean, sorry, my bad, the arcade mode, the online mode. But I think that is all I gotta say. I am sad that Central Fiction is kind of neglected. Like, I would have, like, if ArcSys probably would have put more characters, put more stuff into this game, you know, update it more. I feel like Central Fiction could have lasted a while, you know? Like, once, like, I feel like the nail in the coffin was BBTAG. Like, I get it, they were trying to capitalize on a brand new game with brand new franchises. Well, not brand new franchises, but like a brand new idea for BlazBlue to cross over all these franchises to, you know, attract more people. I totally understand that. But I feel sad that this game just didn't get any more. Like, more characters would have been great. Like Trinity, Kajun, more characters outside of BlazBlue, like more BlazBlue media characters, like let's say Homura Mono Hokusaka, or characters from more characters from XBLAZE, or more Bloodedge Experience characters, or etc. Like more characters, like in general. Like, I would have preferred this game would have got more characters and maybe expand some bits of the story to lead into like more stuff beyond Central Fiction. Like, it sucks, really though. It really does suck that it's just in this state. You know, like, Central Fiction could have got more support. Like, I really believe it should have. Like, an expanded version would have been great. And I'm not talking about Central Fiction Special Edition for the Switch. That doesn't count because it's just a version of Central Fiction with all the DLC. And I'm kind of sad that only the Switch version got it, because hell, like other games, I would have totally bought the PS4 version of the game, because I got the PS3 version of Central Fiction. But I would have bought the PS4 version of like the Special Edition if I, you know, cared enough and if the game had enough to justify me buying the game again. But $50 for the essentially what is the same game on a new console, no. Especially when like the Special Edition came out around 2018, 2019, around that time, and the game was already 2 years old at that point. So like paying another $50 for the game again just with the DLC unlock is dumb. Especially when you probably would have had the DLC by those 2 years. So no, especially when they released it so far ahead. Like, it's whatever. The point is, this game would have benefited a lot from an extended version, really. Like, I've whined and complained and moaned about extended versions for all my time playing BlazBlue, but I swear to God, this game would have benefited from an extended version. Add more gag reels, add a goddamn dub to this game, added more stuff to Grim of Abyss, or I don't know, add more colors, or add new story bits. Maybe do that Bloodedge Experience, the little Bloodedge Experience guiding idea I had, or something, man. Just Jesus Christ. Like, I would have liked for Central Fiction to get an extended version, but with the Special Edition coming out, I feel like that was just a nail in the coffin. Like, I really wish ArcSys didn't just quit on this game like they did. You know, like, just put more into it. You know, like, Central Fiction is a good game. Despite my gripes with it, it's a good game. It has a lot going for it. It's so much in it that warrants another look at it. And I'm glad people are still playing the game. You know, hell, people even like made their own mod, like Central Fiction Remix, I think. And that game was insane as hell. That whole mod was insane. But I think that's enough for Central Fiction. I think it's time to put this game to rest. Let's say sayonara Central Fiction, and hopefully just see what happens beyond this game. So, sayonara CF, you were a great game. Despite my problems with you, you weren't that bad of a game.